Hello YouTubers and Doctor Who fans, and welcome to another Doctor Who DVD review. As you can see before you today, I am reviewing the Key to Time box set, and this box set features all 6 stories, all from Doctor Who's 16th season, which was broadcast in 1978 and 1979, and these stories star Tom Baker and Mary Tamm. So first of all, let's take a look at this box. Now this is designed differently to all the other box sets what we've seen in the DVD line. This was released a few years ago, hence why we have the older BBC DVD logo, and as you can see that the colour on it is a sort of more pinkish colour. I quite like it myself. It's kind of purple as well. It's kind of reminiscent a bit of the Tom Baker title sequence used for the first 6 years of his time as the Doctor. And on the cover of this we have this, which is the Key to Time, and it just keeps on going down there, and we have the Doctor and Romana. We also have a planet here, which I believe is the planet featured in the final story. It might be one of the other stories. Can't really remember, to be honest, but you have a planet there anyway. And inside here, it looks like a sort of little time vortex. You've got this bit here that really does look like the title sequence, especially the end bit, like when the end credits roll. And underneath it just says the Key to Time, and it gives you all the stories: the Ribos Operation, the Pirate Planet, the Stones of Blood, the Androids of Tara, the Power of Kroll, the Armageddon Factor, and it also comes with special features. And this is filled with special features, as you can imagine, as this box set is massive. There's a whole season worth of Doctor Who stories here up for grabs. It's a 7-disc set, and it's been rated as a PG. So here is the side. So it, compared to other box sets in the line, it just looks humongous. If I get other box sets on my box set shelf, you can really see that it is absolutely massive, as it holds 6 DVD cases inside. But as ever, I display this on a separate shelf, as I mentioned that I display it on my box sets shelf, as I have nothing inside there. But when you get it, you have all the DVD cases inside there. So overall, I think the design of the box is very nice. It's also made in a harder case, as you can make here, because the others are a lot weaker cardboard because they hold less DVD cases, but because this holds 6, they had to make a harder case. So overall, I think it's a brilliant box set design. I think it's fantastic. I also like the Doctor Who logo in white. I don't know why, I always seem to like it in the white colour. But anyhow, I'll put this out the way and I'll give you a look at the stories inside the box set. Starting off with the Ribos Operation. And on all of these DVDs you have stickers as well, just to tell you which story it is in the Key to Time story arc. And as you can see, it says here story 1. He also gives you the BBC DVD number, which you can find at the top of the DVD spines, so that's very helpful. I think the stickers are very nice. On each one you have a different colour as well, which I think is very fitting. And on the cover we just have two characters as featured from the story. You don't have the Fourth Doctor, something very unusual in the DVD line, as it always seems to feature a picture, at least, of the Doctor, whoever it may be. And we have Romana and K9, and this is, of course, the first story to feature the first incarnation of Romana, played by Tamm, as well as the first appearance of the second K9 after the first K9 was left behind on Gallifrey at the end of the invasion of time. We also have these crown jewels which contain the key to time, or a segment of the key to time, which you can see at the middle of the cover here. I think it's a nice cover. It's not the best cover in the world. You've got the halls as well, the catacombs in the story, and you've got snow, as there's a lot of snow in this. But I think the set design in this is pretty damn good. The spine is pretty simple. It's mainly black with a bit of green at the top, the bottom, as well as a green strip with the black To Entertain logo. And it just says here, underneath the Ribos Operation, the Key to Time, Story 1. And this story was by the great Robert Holmes. The Doctor is summoned by the mysterious and powerful White Guardian and sent on the quest to find the 6 segments of the Key to Time, which, once assembled, will restore balance to the universe. Joining the Doctor and K9 is a smart and sassy Romana, a Time Lord fresh from the Academy. Landing on the wintry planet of Ribos to locate the first segment, the TARDIS crew quickly find themselves embroiled in a little local trouble with a pair of con men and an unstable warlord. Special features include commentary by Tom Baker, Mary Tamm, A Matter of Time, a new documentary exploring the Graham Williams 3-year tenure as Doctor Who's producer, which started in season 15 with Horror of Fang Rock, and of course he produced this, which is his second season out of 3. It also features Tom Baker, Mary Tamm, Louise Jameson, who played Leela, Lalla Ward, who played Princess Astra in the Armageddon Factor, the final story of this season, and she went on to play Romana in the next 2 seasons, along with John Leeson, who played K9, plus new series writer Gareth Roberts. The Ribos File cast and crew look back at the making of the story, including Nigel Plaskett, who played Unstoff, Paul Seed, the Graf Vinder K, and Prentice Hancock, the captain. We also have a season 16 trailer, the original BBC One trailer for the 16th season of Doctor Who. It's a very good trailer. You have continuities, offer continuity links from the story original broadcasts, and the rest are usual special features, like all of the Radio Times billings and all of that type of thing. And you have a digitally remastered picture and sound quality. The story was originally broadcast on BBC One between the 2nd and 23rd of September 1978. It was produced by Graham Williams and directed by George Spenton Foster. Liner notes are by Richard Melsworth, Niall Boyce, and the cover is by Clayton Hickman, and the runtime is 98 minutes. It's a 4-part story, and all of these stories in this box set are 4 parts, apart from the final story, the Armageddon Factor, which is actually the last ever 6-part story in Doctor Who's history up to 2014. And I don't think there'll ever be a 6-part story again. Well, for now anyway. The inside is basically, you've got the same picture on the as on the cover as you do on most of the leaflets that come in the DVDs. But one thing to note, on this disc and with 5 of the other discs, you have a picture of the segments as featured in the story, and each story is a different segment. In fact, I think in the Armageddon Factor DVD, I think it's just the same picture on both discs over and over. I don't know, but we'll soon find out when I get onto that story. What do I think of the story? I think it's alright. It's nothing to write home about. I think it's quite a good start. I start off with, like, the introduction of Romana's handled very well. But I think in places it's a bit boring and it's fairly average from Robert Holmes. It's one of his average stories, I'd say, not one of his best, but still, I think it's quite a good start to the Key to Time season. So there you have it, the Ribos Operation. The next story is the Pirate Planet. Now, on this cover there's a lot more going on. I actually prefer this cover. The sticker is now a light orange colour, and you have Tom Baker and Bruce Purchase, who plays the pirate captain in this story, and you have another segment of the Key to Time, and as you can see it's different from the one that's seen on the cover of the Ribos Operation. And we also have the robot parrot along with some controls and some wires, what you see in this story, and pipes on the side of the cover. So very nice. I really like this cover. I think it looks outstanding. And on the side, again, it's mainly black, but you've got bits of red. And at the back you can see it says The Key to Time Story 2 by Douglas Adams. The Doctor and Romana arrive on the planet Zanuck looking for the second segment of The Key to Time. Although priceless gems are scattered on the streets and the night sky changes with the dawn of each new prosperous age, the townsfolk live in fear. For in a fortress overlooking the city, a terrifying pirate captain is in control of the most destructive force in the galaxy. Commentary 1 by Tom Baker, Tamm, Anthony Reed, and the second one is by Bruce Purchase, the Pennant Roberts, and then we go on to Parrot Fashion, a 30-minute documentary featuring archive interviews with writer Douglas Adams, plus cast and crew including Tamm, John Leeson, Bruce Purchase, Rosalind Lloyd, who played Zanzia, I can't pronounce that. Film inserts, deleted scenes and outtakes. I think that's very funny. Weird Science, the spoof 1970s schools programme, looks at some of the science seen in the Key to Time season. We have continuities offer continuity, just like on the Ribos Operation DVD. And again, the rest are usual special features that you find in the classic series DVD range. This story was originally broadcast on 30th of September and it lasted until 21st of October 78. Produced by Graham Williams and directed by Pennant Roberts. The liner notes are by Richard Malsworth, Tim Kittle, and the covers by Clayton Hickman. And this is 100 minutes. as one of the episodes runs quite longer than usual, but it's still a 4-parter. And there's the inside with a picture of the captain, and there is the segment, a scene of this story. It's got like gold and yellow, which I think is very good. So what do I think of the Pirate Planet? Well, I kind of prefer this to the Ribos Operation, and I know a lot of people actually prefer the Ribos Operation, but I think this is just a bit better. Again, it's not the best story in the world, but I really do think that the captain is quite a good villain, and I quite like the robot parrot as well. So, yeah, I think the Pirate Planet is a good second story in the Key to Time box set, and I think it's one of the reasons why you should definitely purchase this box set. As we can see on this cover, we have a purple sticker along with a sort of dark colour. It's very purple. It's just a very dark colour, and it suits the tone of the stories. It's a very dark and atmospheric story. We have the Doctor and Romana on the cover, as you may be able to make out, and they're just surrounded by stars and the faces are in the sky. We have the third segment of the Key to Time at the centre, and we have the stones along with a hooded figure and the main villain of the story, which is actually a woman. We also have some woodland and other sorts of things going on, and there you have it. So I think it's a very dark cover. The spine is just basically black, little bit of purple there, and here it just says The Key to Time Story 3 by David Fisher. The search for the third segment of The Key to Time leads the Doctor, Romana and K9 to Boscombe Moor on Earth in the late 20th century. Here they encounter Professor Amelia Rumford and Vivian Fay, who are surveying an ancient stone circle called the Nine Travellers. What is the link between an ancient Celtic goddess, an alien criminal, and a transporter ship concealed in hyperspace? And can the Doctor escape the druidic sacrifice of blood to uncover the mystery of the moving stones? Commentary by Mary Tamm, Darrell Blake. Commentary 2 by Tom Baker, Mary Tamm, Susan Engel, David Fisher. Getting blood from the stones. Cast and crew look at the making of the Stones of Blood, including Mary Tamm, John Leeson, Susan Engel, David Fisher, Anthony Reid, Darrell Blake, Matt Irvine, who was an effects designer. Hammer Horror, a short featurette considering the influence of horror films on Doctor Who stories over the years. Stones 3, Mary Tamm visits the Rollright Stones to meet experts on this ancient stone circle. We have deleted footage from part 2. We have Model World, which is like an excerpt of the 1979 programme looking back at the model work for the Stones of Blood. We have Blue Peter and Nationwide, 2 Blue Peter programmes celebrating Doctor Who's 15th anniversary, and we have offer continuities around when this story aired, and the story was originally broadcast on BBC One between the 28th of October and 18th of November 1978, produced by Graham Williams, directed by Darrell Blake, and the sleeve text is by Sue Crowley and the cover is by Clayton Hickman, and the runtime is 95 minutes approx. And inside we have this mask thing, something that's absent on the front cover, and there's a lot more stuff going on here than on the front cover. And again, the disc just has a segment of the key to time, and this time it's in a sort of pinkish, purpley colour. So that is the Stones of Blood. What is my opinion on this story? Well, I think personally it is probably my favourite story out of the 6 in this set. I really enjoyed it, and for those of you who don't know, you probably do anyway, but this was the 100th story of Doctor Who, and I think it's a very good story. I like the title, The Stones of Blood. It just sounds very cool. So I quite like this story, and I think this is probably my favourite out of the Key to Time season. The next story, which I also quite like in this set, is The Androids of Tara. And as you can see, it's the Key to Time Story 4. I see on the sticker. The sticker is now red. And you have quite a few things going on. We have what seems to be a clock face here. And it is rumoured that in the Series 8 title sequence we're going to be getting some clocks, seeing as it's based on a YouTuber, but I've never seen it. We'll have a better idea by August the 23rd. We have the Doctor here. We have the villain of the story, who is Count Grendel. We have his castle and some more housing. We have some candles, and it appears that they are actually standing on the steps as well, and there is a clock face. We also have 2 identical images just flipped around of Mary Tamm, but one is a fake one and one is the real one. I take it that's supposed to be the real Romana, as she does a dual role in the story. I think it's a very well put together story. So here, a lot more stuff going on this spine. It's more orange red, and you can see part of Count Grendel's castle, which I think is very nice, seeing as the other ones in this box set, not a lot going on the spine apart from the Power of Kroll, which is all green. And this story was by David Fisher, and it seems that the search for the 4th segment of the Key to Time will prove simple when Romana locates it on the planet Tara, but in a land where nothing as it is first appears, the Doctor and his companion quickly find themselves embroiled in a deadly game of kidnap, deceit and counterplot. It is not long before the Doctor himself is locking swords with the dastardly Count Grendel of Grat, and he is the finest sword bladesman in the kingdom. Well, you could say swordsman as well, who has sinister plans for Romana. And the cover kind of gives away what the plan is there. So the commentary for this is by Tom Baker, Mary Tamm, Michael Hayes, the director. The Humans of Tara, the cast and crew look back at the making of The Androids of Tara, featuring interviews with actors Mary Tamm, Paul Lavers, and Neville Jason, writer David Fisher, script editor Auntie Reed, and director Michael Hayes. Now and then, a short featurette comparing the locations used for the Androids of Tara as they are now with how they appeared back in 1978. Double Trouble, brief history of doubles in other Doctor Who stories. Radio times, billings, and all the rest are usual. Broadcast dates for this were between 25th of November and 16th of December 1978, so it's just before Christmas of that year. Produced by Graham Williams, directed by Michael Hayes, liner texted by Sue Crowley, and covers by Clayton Hickman again. And runtime is 97 minutes. the disc is red, and here it's just basically the same picture as you can see at the centre of the picture on the bottom half of the cover. Now, what are my overall thoughts? Well, as I said, I quite like this story. Might be my second favourite out of the 6 stories in this set. I really do enjoy this story. I think it's very atmospheric, and I just think it's a very good story. I think Count Grendel's quite a good villain. So yeah, and Tom Baker, of course, he's brilliant. He's brilliant in all 6 of these stories. So yeah, another reason why I would pick up the Key to Time box set. The penultimate story in the Key to Time box set is The Power of Kroll. Here we have the green sticker to show that it's set in woodland, basically. It's a very weird setting for a Doctor Who story. Here we have Kroll, which is the biggest Doctor Who prop villain ever created back then. It was all a prop. It's no CGI before this age of CGI when this story came out, and it looks quite impressive, I must say. Some parts it looks a bit dodgy nowadays, but I think for the time it would have been damn terrifying if I was a child. You also have some lightning, and it's just like loads of swampland. You can see the Doctor and Romana on a canoe, and there's even another picture of the Doctor and Romana inside the woodland. The swamps, all the grassy areas. We have the segment of the key again, and you can just see the top of the TARDIS there. So overall, there's quite a lot of stuff happening on this cover. Obviously you have all the swampland as well, and you have the oil rig, one of the main setting of the story. And on the spine, you've got more stuff going on. I say the best spine out of the set is probably the Android Zatara, but this is quite a nice spine. It's probably the second best spine out of the lot. It's just, it's just stands out. And the Key to Time Story 5 by Robert Holmes. This is his second story in this season after the Ribos Operation. Searching for the 5th segment of the Key to Time, the Tracer brings the TARDIS to treacherous swamps on a third moon of the planet Delta Magna. The Doctor and Romana soon uncover a plot to wipe out the Swampies, the local inhabitants, by the duplicitous crew of a gas refinery. Meanwhile, a massive creature is stirring beneath the waters, and the primitive Swampies believe the only way to calm the powerful monster is human sacrifice. Commentary by Tom Baker and John Leeson. Variations of BBC local news programme visits the story location during filming. We have in the studio fascinating glimpse inside the studio recording of the story recovered from the time coding monochrome production recordings. There's something about Mary. Mary Tamm looks back at her time as Romana. Philip Maddock, a villain for all seasons, a retrospective of actor Philip Maddock's numerous roles as a Doctor Who villain down the years. I say this, out of his 3 appearances, is probably his weakest appearances. It's a bit boring in this story, I'm afraid to say. Nothing compared to his role in the War Games or the Brain of Morbius, in my opinion. Continuities offer, and they're just continuity links to the story, and the rest are usual again, like coming soon and all of that. You have the broadcast dates, which were between 23rd of December 78 and the 13th of January 1979, produced by Graham Williams, directed by Norman Stewart. The liner notes are by Murray Lang, and the cover is by Clayton Hickman, and runtime is 90 minutes. So the disc is green and it just shows Kroll there. What do I think of the Power of Kroll? I'm not really that fussed on the Power of Kroll, to be honest. It's one of the weakest in this box set, which is quite surprising, really, as I'm a big fan of Robert Holmes. Maybe if I rewatch it, I might like it more, but I don't know. There's just something about this story. It just doesn't make me like it as much as the Stones of Blood or the Android of Tara, or possibly even the Pirate Planet for that matter. I don't know what's better, the Ribos Operation or the Power of Kroll. Might say the Ribos Operation, but I don't know. It's not a bad story. I don't think there's anything really, really bad about it, but I'm just not the best fan of this story. I don't know why, to be honest. There's just some reason. I think it's because parts of it I found a bit boring, and some parts I thought were a bit corny, like all of the swampies, like painted green, and they were just chanting "Kroll, Kroll, Kroll" over and over. It just got a bit annoying, and it just seemed a bit corny, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, anyway. If you love this story, I hope I've not offended you. But if you love this story, I've nothing to complain about. It's everyone's opinion, but that's my opinion, anyway. So that is the Power of Kroll. And the final story of this set. And everyone says that this is the weakest. The Armageddon Factor, which is like the big grand finale of this story, the big six-parter right at the end. And this is a U, and it's a 2-disc set. The sticker is red again, and there's a lot of orange around, and it's in space. You have Princess Astra, who will become the next Romana in Destiny of the Daleks, which follows on from this. We have the Fourth Doctor here, of course, and we have this guy, the Shadow, who's like the villain of this story. So I think it's a very good cover. I actually quite like this cover. I think it's very good. And that's the spine. There's a bit of red going over there, but apart from that, it's all black. And it says U, Universal for All. I'm not sure about that, but there you go. This set is a PG anyway. The finale of The Key to Time was written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin, and they are great writers, I must say. The Key to Time is almost complete, with only one piece still to find. The Doctor, Romana and K9 arrive on Atrios, a planet in the middle of a terrible war with its twin world Zeos. To restore the balance of the universe for the White Guardian, the Doctor must find a sixth segment before the planets destroy each other, but Zeos is deserted, so who is behind the war? Commentary 1 is by Murray Tamm, John Woodvine, David Hayes. Commentary 2 by Tom Baker, Murray Tamm and John Leeson. Defined in Shadows, the cast and crew look back at the making of the story with writers Bob Baker and Dave Martin, designer Richard McMahon-Smith, Lalla Ward, David Harris played Shap, and Barry Jackson who played Drex. And Drex is another Time Lord, by the way. Directed Who. Michael Hayes talks about the directing career. Rogue Time Lords, a potted history of errants, Gallifreyans, and then you have Pebble Mill 1, just interviews with Tom Baker in 78, plus an interview with Dick Mills and Brian Hodgson of the Radiophonic Workshop. A new sound of music. Dick Mills talks about sound effects. You have Merry Christmas Doctor Who, a sketch from 1978's BBC Christmas tape. Late Night Story. Tom Baker reads 5 spine-chilling stories from this 1978 series, one never before broadcast and seen here for the first time. So there's a good exclusive for you. And we have continuities offer, and there's just loads of special features on this, as it's a 2-disc set. 2-disc for this, and the broadcast dates for this was between the 20th of January and 24th Feb 79. Produced by Graham Williams and directed by Michael Hayes, and the runtime is 144 minutes. It's a 6-parter. And yeah, the booklet is loose. There's no grapple for it. So it's a bit like the Invasion. So you just have to like put it in like that and just make sure it doesn't slip out. Bit of a pain, as I prefer the whole thing where it just flips and you have more than one disc. So that's disc 2. This is disc 1. So disc 1 has a 6th segment, whereas disc 2 has the whole of the Key to Time as a whole. And I quite like the idea how you've got segments and all of that and all the discs. I think it's quite clever. Now, what do I think of the Armageddon Factor? Well, everyone says it's a very bad way to resolve the whole story arc of this season. And yeah, I agree, but I actually quite like it. But, it's not the best story in the world. There are some faults with it, I can see. And it might not be my favourite out of the whole season. I don't know if it's my least favourite or not. But by the end of it all, you do get a sense that you are a bit cheated, and you think, it just feels like so anticlimactic at the end. But I think there is some good parts in the story. I think there's some memorable moments. Again, the lead actors in this story are on top form, and I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be. I really think that there are a lot worse story than, there's more worse stories than this, and I think it's alright, and I actually quite like it. So, thank you very much for watching my review, my gargantuan review, which has took up 3 videos, of the Key to Time box set. Would I get this set? Well, if you're a Doctor Who fan, like me, and you're a completist, like me, then I would get it. Yeah, it doesn't have the best stories in the world, I must admit, but you've got yourself hours worth of stories here, and lots of extras, and, it's, when you buy this, you're basically getting all of Tom Baker's 5th season. So just bear that in mind. I think it's quite a good season. Not my favourite season, but I think it's very good. Not the worst, definitely not the worst. So it's definitely worth checking out, and all I can say really is, if you want it, get it. But if you don't want it, and you're thinking, I'm not really sure about that story, but I really want that story, maybe hang on for a while. But eventually, I would definitely get the Key to Time box set.
Don't forget to click the link below to subscribe to me, James Croft, aka the Obsestuvian 95. Have a great day.